Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling something that pretty much every IT and cybersecurity professional loses sleep over at some point. Taking an absolute mountain of chaotic, messy network data and turning it into crystal clear, actionable insights. Seriously, imagine billions of system events happening every single day across your servers, firewalls, and endpoints. How in the world do you make sense of it all? Well, that is exactly where Splunk comes in. Today, we're going to track the journey of a single log file, from raw, messy data all the way to a beautifully structured query.
Here's our roadmap for today. 1. Meet your new SIEM. 2. Core Splunk components. 3. Navigating the interface. 4. Adding data. And 5. Analyzing logs with SPL.
Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. Meet your new SIEM. What exactly is Splunk? To ground the technical jargon right out of the gate, SIEM stands for Security Information and Event Management. Splunk is basically an industry giant in this space. Think of it as a massive, ultra-fast search engine built specifically for machine data. It pulls in data from across your entire network, analyzes it, and correlates different events together in real time. The whole goal here, to give you vastly better visibility into your network activities, so you can dramatically speed up threat detection. Instead of manually logging into 20 different servers to check logs, Splunk brings all that information directly to your fingertips.
Moving on to Part 2, Core Splunk Components. Let's take a look under the hood.
So, the crucial thing to understand is that Splunk isn't just one giant clunky application. It's actually made up of exactly 3 main components. You could think of them like a highly efficient assembly line, working in perfect harmony to help us search and analyze our data.
Let's look at the first 2 parts of that assembly line. First up, we've got the Splunk Forwarder. This is a super lightweight agent installed directly on your endpoints, like a web server or a Windows machine. It acts as our scout. Its literally only job is to collect data and forward it along. And it's specifically designed to use very few system resources, so it never bogs down the endpoint's performance. Then it kicks that raw data over to the Splunk indexer. The indexer is the heavy lifter. It receives all that chaotic raw traffic from your forwarders and organizes it like an incredibly meticulous librarian. It parses the data, normalizes it into neat little field value pairs, categorizes it, and securely stores it on disk as events.
And that brings us to the third component, the search head. If the forwarder is the scout and the indexer is the librarian, well, the search head is the detective. This is where you actually interact with the process data. You sit at the search head and run queries using SPL, which is search processing language. When you hit enter, the search head asks the indexer for the relevant data and then transforms those results into readable tables, pie charts, and bar graphs. All right, Part 3, Navigating the Interface. Let's take a quick tour of the default home screen. Right at the very top of your interface, you're going to find the Splunk bar. I'll quickly fire off the options here because this is essentially your main command center. You have messages for crucial system-level notifications. Settings is where you configure your specific Splunk instance. Activity lets you keep tabs on the progress of any heavy search jobs you've got running in the background. Help is a fantastic hub for tutorials and docs, and Find is your app-wide search. The Splunk bar is also where you can easily swap between different apps you might have installed. Just below that command center, you've got a few other main panels. The Apps panel lists all your installed applications. Honestly, if you ever get lost, just click Search and Reporting. That's the default app where most of the actual magic happens. Then there's Explore Splunk, giving you really fast links to ingest new data. Finally, taking up most of the space is the Home dashboard. It starts off blank, but it's a highly customizable area where you can pin all your favorite charts, graphs, and saved visual dashboards for instant monitoring.
Section 4. Adding data. It is finally time to bring this theory to life and upload some real logs.
Splunk makes this part almost too easy. When you choose to upload data from your local machine, you're greeted with a totally straightforward, linear 5-step wizard. Step 1, select your source file. Step 2, select the source type. So is it a CSV, syslog, JSON? Step 3, input settings, which is just defining the specific index you want this data to live in. Step 4, review your configurations to make sure everything looks good. And Step 5, done. At that point, the indexer takes over and does all the heavy lifting. For our practical example today, we're using that upload wizard to ingest a specific file called VPN logs, and we're dumping it into a custom index we've creatively named VPN logs. Because the raw file is formatted as new line delimited JSON, we're just going to let Splunk automatically detect and keep the JSON source type. That essentially tells Splunk to treat every single line of that file as one distinct event.
Section 5. Analyzing logs with SPL. We are stepping into the search head to actually run queries on our new data.
Okay, before we go crazy with searches, I absolutely have to highlight this crucial command, the pipe symbol, followed by spath. Because our VPN logs are in JSON format, sometimes the nested field names don't automatically pop up in our search results. By simply adding pipe spath to the end of a base search, we force Splunk to parse out every single JSON field from each event. It extracts all those beautiful data points so we can actually search them.
Let's kick things off with the most foundational query possible. Index equals VPN logs, pipe stats count. This is always step one of any investigation, right? We're simply telling Splunk to look inside the specific index we just created and return the total count of events. It's the absolute best way to verify that your upload worked correctly and to see exactly how massive of a data set you're dealing with.
Now, let's build this into something way more targeted. Say we have a suspicious user. We take our base query, add our spath command to extract the JSON fields, and then we tack on a filter. Search username equals Melina, followed by stats count. Boom. Instead of counting every single event in the database, Splunk zeroes right in and counts only the log events captured specifically for the user named Melina.
And this brilliantly illustrates SPL's power to correlate data. Let's imagine your firewall flags a highly suspicious IP address, say 107.14.182.38. We pop that IP into our search, but notice the end of the query. Stats, values of username as username count. We aren't just counting the events anymore. We're asking Splunk to pull out the specific usernames associated with that bad IP address. In seconds, we go from a totally anonymous alert to knowing exactly whose compromised account is logging in from that location. That's a huge game changer.
Now, take a look at the syntax here. Notice the exclamation mark right before the equals sign. Source country not equals France. SNPL isn't just about finding specific matches. It's honestly incredible for excluding data to cut through the noise. This specific query filters out normal traffic by counting every single event that originated from everywhere in the world except France. It is a fantastic technique when you're hunting for anomalies.
To wrap up our practical SPL examples, let's run one more highly targeted investigation. We're searching our index, parsing our JSON, and looking for events originating from one specific IP, 107.3.206.58. By running this, we quickly discover exactly how many VPN events are tied to a second potentially malicious actor.
So we've journeyed all the way from chaotic raw data to targeted, actionable threat hunting using Splunk's forwarder, indexer, and search head. You now have the foundational SPL skills to collect, organize, and interrogate pretty much any machine data on your network. But honestly, this is just the beginning. The real magic happens when you take these skills into practical challenge rooms like incident handling to investigate real, live cybersecurity incidents. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Now that your data is neatly indexed, what hidden threats are you going to search for first? Keep exploring, keep querying, and I'll see you in the next explainer.